Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and what do you do when two great QWERTY-equipped smartphones come out? You pit them up in a dogfight against each other, that's what. The Samsung Epic 4G, the T-Mobile G2, two of the best QWERTY smartphones on the market right now, and two devices that are utilizing their respective carriers' latest network upgrades. On the Sprint side, WiMAX 4G, and on the T-Mobile side, HSPA+, 3G really, or enhanced 3G, but T-Mobile's calling it 4G-like speeds. So, both awesome devices, both the flagships of their respective carriers. We're going to do a dogfight in traditional phone dog style. It's about to be a what? Dogfight. Okay, it's a dogfight between two of the best QWERTY-equipped smartphones on the market, the Samsung Epic 4G and the T-Mobile HTC G2, which of course is being marketed as the T-Mobile G2. To give you a quick recap on the specs, available from Sprint now, $249.99 after a $100 mail-in rebate. G2 available from T-Mobile now, $199.99 if you're on an Even More plan, $499.99 if you're on an Even More Plus plan. So you get some options in terms of pricing from T-Mobile. But let's jump into the specs. 4-inch Super AMOLED display, 480 by 800 pixels on the display, and it's definitely beautiful device. 16.7 million colors, absolutely gorgeous in terms of display. 3.7-inch display on the G2, also 480 by 800 pixels, but 3.7-inch display here. In terms of display, just looking at it from that perspective, I'd have to say, single-handedly goes to the Epic 4G. That 4-inch Super AMOLED display is right in that sweet spot between 3.7 inches and 4.3 inches, and it really looks great. You don't see it necessarily in everyday stuff when you're going through applications or going through the menu, but when you come back and you really look at that image in the background, it really pops and looks beautiful. From everything from taking pictures with the camera to just looking at background pictures. Absolutely gorgeous display. And when you're holding them side by side, it's a noticeable difference. Now, not to say that the T-Mobile G2's display is bad at all. It's 3.7 inches, and it's definitely colorful, looks nice. But display to display, the Epic 4G is definitely better. The Epic 4G is one of the Galaxy S devices, all of which have 4-inch Super AMOLED displays, but this is by far the most feature-packed of the devices available right now, with the QWERTY keyboard, flash on the camera, and front-facing camera. So definitely some benefits there. Jump into size a little bit. Size-wise, the T-Mobile G2 is a little bit smaller than the Epic. Let's hold those up close to get an idea. More rounded on the Epic 4G. It feels different in the hand. A little bit more rounded. Has kind of a plasticky feel to it. Not to say that it's a bad feel, but it's definitely tight plastic. Feels good in the hand. But it's plasticky, whereas the G2 has metal accents on the battery door and metal accents on the front. So just in terms of design, it's definitely the G2. The G2 is the winner there with the metal accents and with the metal battery door. Cool little feature here as well. Click it, battery door pops off. So nice benefit there. And just in terms of design, I'd have to say it goes to the G2. In terms of size, to give you a comparison, 4.68 inches long, 2.37 inches wide, 0.55 inch thick. So 0.55 inch thick here, 0.56 inch thick here. Definitely not a noticeable difference, but in terms of height, you can see just a little bit of a difference there, mostly from the curve on the top. Now, I jumped into this a minute ago, and I'll go back to it. The front-facing camera, definitely a benefit there for video calling, which is not available on the G2. It has the 5-megapixel camera on the back, but it has no front-facing camera on the front. Front-facing camera on the front. Definitely no duh, Aaron. Front-facing camera on the Epic 4G, allows you to do video chat via Fring or via Quick on Sprint's network. Now, both of these devices are, just so you know, I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but both of these devices are running what their carriers call 4G. WiMAX is definitely a 4G technology. T-Mobile's running HSPA+, which is more of an enhanced 3G technology, but they're marketing it as, like 4G speeds. And in more of the recent marketing, they're marketing it as 4G. So we'll jump into some speed tests in a minute. But first, I want to look at the keyboard here, which is a big thing for people. These are it was a tough one for me because these are two of the best QWERTY keyboard devices in the industry. Gorgeous keyboards, tactile, feel good. This one is a 5-row keyboard layout with the shortcut buttons on the side, and this is a 4-row keyboard layout with T-Mobile, or with HTC rather, is quick keys on the bottom here. Now, with the quick keys, I can click one of these, and I haven't set it up on this device, but let's just say, directions and navigation, for example. And when I click that quick key, say that 3 times fast, it will, what's supposed to, let's see here, let's do music playlist. Okay, let's try that again. Huh. That's interesting, but what it's supposed to do is, I don't know why it's not sticking, but what it's supposed to do when you click on these buttons, it quick launches you into a program. So, if you have Gmail set, for example, you click it, quick launches you in there. And as somebody pointed out in the comments when we were talking about the G2 and how frustrating it was, they weren't, those quick keys weren't on the front. They are in the menu, so nice benefit there. On the Epic 4G, a little bit bigger keyboard, 5 rows with the shortcut buttons on the side, menu, back, home, and search, same as you would find on the front with the capacitive buttons. So those are there, so when you're typing, instead of having to go up here and click those, you can click, back, and you can click menu and access from there. So tough call, both are fantastic keyboards. I have to give just a slight edge to the G2 in terms of keyboard quality. Keys are a little bit more rubbery. They're in there. I don't know if I can show you on the camera, if the camera's going to do it justice, but the keys are just slightly raised, whereas these, when you look at them, they're flat. I mean, they're very flat keys, and don't get me wrong, they're tactile and they feel good, but they're flat, and then they're more of a hard plastic. No, I don't want to do that right now. Do not want to do that right now. They're more of a hard plastic versus the tactile rubber feel here. So for me, within 5 minutes of having the G2 out of the box, I was, pounding out emails and text messages on this device. Let's do actually, while we're in here, let's do a test. Quick brown fox is lazy. I can never remember I think it's jumped over something, but it's the quick brown fox is lazy. Very quick, very easy to type there. And let's do the same on the Epic as well. Brown fox is lazy. So it's one of those, personal preference things. I noticed just a little bit of feedback difference on the Epic 4G. A little bit different, and the space bar is a little bit soggy is the word, but a little bit challenging to push there. And the nice benefit here is you get the D-pad on the front, whereas on the T-Mobile version you don't. So this is one of those things, I almost have to call it a tie, or not necessarily a tie, but if you're on Sprint, great keyboard on the Epic 4G. If you're on T-Mobile, great keyboard on the G2. The keyboards alone aren't enough to sway you from one carrier to the other. But I have to give a slight edge to the G2 for me personally. But take a look at both, see what you think. It's definitely going to be personal preference on that front. So let's look at the on-screen keyboards. You get 2 options with the G2, swipe and the Android keyboard. And then on the Epic 4G, you get swipe in the Android keyboard as well. Interestingly enough, this one didn't come with Samsung's keyboard, which comes with the Vibrant, with the Captivate, and with US Cellular's Mesmerize. Just swipe an Android keyboard. Now, one thing I noticed on the G2, I actually wasn't that impressed with the on-screen keyboard. I found that I typed faster than it was able to keep up. So, it's decent if you're typing at a reasonable pace. Oh, Quick Brown Fox is late. Well, not Joseph. The Quick Brown Fox is lazy. Great for typing, at a reasonable pace. But I just found that with this one, and it may be because of the larger screen, but I noticed it was more responsive, Quick Brown Fox is lazy. And of course, with both, you can turn on haptic feedback, so it'll vibrate when you type as well, and you can turn on sounds, so it makes a typewriter kind of sound when you type. But, I just noticed it was a little bit faster on the Epic 4G. And then, of course, swipe, which, I've used it, but I'm not personally a fan. I don't use it on a regular basis. It's definitely great technology, but that's installed on both as well. Now, let's take a look at the hinge real quick. 2 different hinges. This has the Epic 4G has the traditional slide, and it has a kind of a push feel to it, or, it jumps up. It's not like the Droid where you have to kind of drag it all the way up. It definitely, once you get to the halfway point, you can see pops right out of my hand and jumps up. So, tactile there, or feels good in the hand there. And no worries, at least for me, about that, going out within 6 months or a year. It's definitely a sturdy hinge not concerned there. Now the HTC G2 or the T-Mobile G2 utilizes what's called what HTC calls a Z-hinge, where, and I'll hold it to the side so you can see, when you open the device, it actually flips up and over. So you can see flip up, flip over, and then we'll take a look here. You can see it's a Z-hinge, so it opens like a Z. Now, on one hand, cool hinge, different design, feels good. Again, not too worried over the course of 6 months or a year about that falling apart or anything. One frustration about the G2, and I don't text in bed or text upside down, but one frustration is if you hold it like this, or you hold it upside down, the hinge pops open. So not a big deal when you're using it on a daily basis or when you're using it at the desk, but when you're in bed or you're on the couch and you want to text and you're holding it up, you'll notice it closes on itself. So a little frustration there. On the hinge front, it's definitely unique on the G2, but I have to hand it to the Epic for the most sturdy hinge. It's traditional and it's sturdy. And when you hold it upside down, obviously you don't have to worry about it doing anything crazy. So hinge to the Epic 4G.